Hello, everybody. I'm Mihaela Briska, Senior Product Marketing Manager with Cloudflare. This session is about lessons learned in networking and security for financial services. I'm going to go first through some of the trends in financial services, then what is Cloudflare, a few customer stories, and lessons learned. Let's start with the trends. I picked these three trends that I think are important. Extreme acceleration of digital transformation, rising volume and intensity of cyber attacks, increasing privacy and regulatory concerns. The pandemic has changed our daily lives, how we work, how we interact, how we learn, how we go for entertainment. It's no different in financial services. Branch closures have accelerated the implementation of digital self-service processes. As the need for social distancing grew, digital payments, which used to be nice to have, transformed into a daily necessity in many countries. Cloud migration has accelerated, driven by the rush to deploy solutions for a distributed workforce, but also driven by the need for agility in deploying new digital services. Prior to COVID-19, digital transformation was well underway in financial services, yet the pace was inconsistent across players, markets, and geographies. In a matter of weeks, COVID-19 has forced radical change in customer behavior, showing increased comfort and willingness to engage digitally. Mobile and online banking became more popular among customers. Smartphones, which are part of everything we do, are making it increasingly feasible for banks, brokers, and insurers to offer targeted services to customers. As the CEO of PNC Bank puts it very well, the bank's sales went from 25% digital to nearly 75% digital during COVID-19, condensing 10 years worth of changes into 2 months. In addition to accelerating digital adoption, the crisis has also served as a litmus test for financial institutions' digital infrastructure, especially security. Cybersecurity remains a persistent challenge for the financial services industry. Although much progress has been made, there are still many challenges as the volume and frequency of attacks continue to accelerate. Why is that? First, working from home presents unique security challenges in terms of managing the vast number of employees and contractors who need remote access. The legacy solution is a VPN. But VPNs provide an all-or-nothing access, which means that if credentials have been compromised, the attacker has free access to all corporate systems unless the company uses complex segmentations with switches and firewalls internally. With VPNs, stronger security can mean poorer productivity. And also VPNs are expensive to support and maintain. They need constant patching and updating. The second reason why is the reality of the attack surface being now wider. It exploded, actually. An attack surface means network, software, and people. Applications and users can now be anywhere, and the neat castle and moat security model of the data center has become obsolete. Financial services have always been a target because they are rich in personal data, which is easy to monetize. Many financial institutions still rely on the same information security model that they have used for years, one that is perimeter-oriented. Going forward, there is a need that financial institutions adopt an end-user-centric approach to security with automatic updates and shared threat intelligence. There is also a need to shift from building static capabilities in security to more proactive detection and dynamic mechanisms to mitigate threats. This is a report from ENISA, European Union Agency for Cybersecurity, that shows the top 15 cyber threats. The point of this is to see how varied these threats are. They could be phishing, malware, website-based attacks, DDoS, identity theft, insider threats, bot attacks, just to name a few. On our own network, Cloudflare has seen an increase in DDoS attacks in 2020. This is a month-by-month view. You can see I circled Q3 when the attacks were the highest. So one reason for the adoption of DDoS as an attack vector for ransomware, as opposed to using malware, is the ease with which such attacks can be carried out. Infecting an organization's systems with malware takes time and careful planning, versus launching a DDoS attack, which has become relatively simple and has the added benefit for the attacker of being harder to trace back to its origin. From another report, this time from FS-ISAC, the Financial Services Information Sharing and Analysis Center, we see that retail banking, exchanges, and payments have been the top segments hit by DDoS attacks in 2020. And an interesting fact is that more than 100 financial services firms were targets of a wave of DDoS extortion attacks conducted by the same threat actor. The criminals methodically moved across jurisdictions in Europe, North America, Latin America, and Asia Pacific, attacking dozens of institutions of all types within weeks. Which brings me to the point of the importance of sharing threat intelligence worldwide. This slide is about bots. 40% of web traffic is generated by bots. There are good bots like search engine crawlers, like the Google one, and there are bad bots. How do you separate them? It's not a yes or no question. Cloudflare groups traffic into four categories: likely human, likely automated, definitely automated, and verified bot traffic. It uses machine learning on a curated subset of hundreds of billions of requests per day to create a reliable bot score for every request. It does fingerprinting from approximately 25 million internet properties to accurately classify bots. Our system does not generate or store device fingerprints, which is important because we want to preserve end user privacy. Our system uses behavioral analysis to detect anomalies and compares your internet property specific traffic to a baseline. You can see here the output of our bot analytics services for Europe as a whole, Italy, UK, and Portugal for the period January-August 2020. If you are interested in this topic, I recommend you read the blog by one of our engineers in Europe. I put the link on the slide for your reference, or just contact your local team. So the third trend I wanted to talk about is increasing concerns about privacy and regulation. At the same time as the increasing global business interactions via the internet, we see this increasing consumers and companies' concerns about data privacy. This is reflected in the recent updates in regulations. The EU has implemented GDPR back in 2018. In July 2020, the Court of Justice of the European Union declared that Privacy Shield, the EU-US personal data transfer mechanism, was no longer lawful. This is known as the Schrems II decision. This decision has a significant impact on EU-US data transfers, and many organizations need to update their programs to rely on alternative transfer mechanisms. A second initiative, open banking, is a great initiative. The European Union and the UK have passed laws that explicitly require banks to create APIs and open them to third-party developers. But a 2019 survey by a marketing consulting firm showed a wide disparity between open banking's appeal to consumers and their suspicions of it. 44% of bank customers surveyed said that they would like the convenience and personalization that open banking brings, yet 75% said that they are unlikely or very unlikely to allow their banks to share the information with third parties. In payments, strong customer authentication and PSD2 have been two of the most discussed topics of 2020, considering the impact on merchants and online consumers. European Banking Authority has extended a deadline to implement SCA to December 31st, 2020, but different countries have different deadlines. So what is Cloudflare? Cloudflare is a global cloud edge network. It's one of the world's largest. We sit in front of 25 million, more than 25 million internet properties deployed in any configuration, on-prem, cloud-based, or hybrid. We have points of presence in more than 200 cities, in more than 100 countries. Our network and all our products are built with data protection in mind. We are a privacy-first company. We commit in our privacy policy that we will not sell personal data we process on your behalf or use it for any other purpose than to provide services to you. Throughout our history, we've never violated this promise. In fact, our privacy stance was defined long before governments started regulating privacy. Our business model is based on trust, not on ad revenue. Our mission is to make the internet better, more secure, faster, and more reliable. In Q4 of last year, our network blocked 57 billion cyber threats per day. Our network capacity is 59 terabits per second, which means we can sustain the largest distributed denial of service attacks. What differentiates us from our competitors is the scale of our network and the fact that every server in every Cloudflare city runs every service. This is important, especially for security services, because we don't need to hold traffic to a security scrubbing center in a central location. We detect and mitigate attacks right where they happen, at the edge. We then extract insights about the traffic patterns and share them with all the other nodes in the network. This shared intelligence makes our products better and faster, whether it's our firewall, smart routing, bot management, or DDoS mitigation. Continuous innovation is another thing that sets Cloudflare apart from its competitors. In 2018, at our IPO, we had application services. In 2020, we added Cloudflare One, which is made up of zero trust services and network services. We expand these services with many new features every year. For example, we just had one of our innovation weeks at the end of March dedicated to security. We announced a series of new features and solutions such as data loss prevention, leaked credential check, API Shield, Magic WAN, Magic Firewall, browser isolation, Page Shield, and others. For more details, please read our technical blogs and reach out to your local teams. Let's look at a few stories from our financial services customers. First one is about LendingTree. Over 15 million users use LendingTree to monitor their credit, shop for loans, and manage their finances. They also have over 400 financial institutions as partners. Before implementing Cloudflare, whenever they ran a new TV spot or a new social media campaign, requests would spike beyond the arbitrary limit that the previous vendor specified. That was a static limit, which meant the vendor would interpret the spike as a DDoS attack and block legitimate traffic. Not only did they lose the potential customers, but they also lost the money they spent on the marketing campaign. On top of that, the vendor would bill them for the DDoS protection. The APIs used to do business with their partners were also abused by bots. To improve their security posture, they bought our DDoS solution, rate limiting, WAF, and bot management. Within 48 hours of enabling our bot management solution, they noticed a drop by 70% in attacks against a particular API endpoint without affecting legit traffic. They were able to save $250,000 over 5 months by stopping API abuse. This is a customer story that shows how our security solution can operate at scale cost effectively. NCR trusts Cloudflare to provide the security and protection for their digital banking platform that enables credit unions and regional banks to offer online banking services to their customers across web and mobile platforms. Many of the banks that use NCR were receiving complaints from their customers that they were not able to access their account records online. NCR discovered that many of these sites were being targeted by bad actors with brute force and credential stuffing attacks. NCR needed to find a solution that would provide broad-scale protection against many of the common attacks that would target their customer sites, and to be able to offer these services without adding any unnecessary financial burdens for their customers. They bought our web application firewall, DDoS, rate limiting, and bot management. This Forbes 500 financial services organization was under a DDoS attack when they contacted Cloudflare. Their network infrastructure, hosted with a public cloud provider, went offline for over 30 minutes due to the attack. This was a network layer DDoS attack used for extortion. The attackers warned that another attack is impending if a ransom was not paid. So they implemented Cloudflare's Magic Transit, which is our layer 3 DDoS solution. And that was immediately able to offer protection and restore user experience at normal levels. Our solution uses shared intelligence from our large-scale network based on machine learning and behavioral analysis. So it works as soon as it gets installed. It does not need a couple of weeks to get trained like other solutions. Also, in contrast to other services, it does not introduce latency because it works at the edge and it does not send the traffic to a scrubbing center. This story is about a global payment processor that has been a customer of ours since 2018. As their growth and expansion began to accelerate, they needed a more modern, secure edge architecture, and they adopted Cloudflare. Another pain point was they had a dependency on professional services from their previous vendor that became a little bit too expensive and delayed the onboarding of some of their domains. Security was a key factor in their evaluation of a new vendor. Cloudflare offered a fully encrypted end-to-end solution that not only met their security requirements, but offered a high degree of self-service ability and scalability that was unmatched. Since onboarding to Cloudflare, they are now supporting over 300 unique website domain addresses. The onboarding process for one domain with Cloudflare takes under 13 minutes compared to up to 14 days with the other vendor, and the cost went way down. If I had to distill the lessons learned from these customer stories, I would pick these three. Number one, implement an intelligent threat mitigation solution, be it DDoS or bots, that continuously learns, is updated automatically, and is always on. Number two, you do not need to make a compromise between security and performance for your digital customers. Our integrated architecture inspects traffic inline at the edge. Then our smart routing and other performance products like mobile content optimization kick in seamlessly. Number three, our customers find that with Cloudflare, they can dramatically improve their operational efficiencies by consolidating vendors and reducing professional services expenses. Our integrated user-friendly management UI helps reduce complexity, and we know that complexity is the enemy of security, and also increases the productivity of your staff. But the savings keep piling up from avoiding mismanaging bots, as you saw from the lending tree story. Before I close, I would like to leave you with some next steps. We have a lot of resources that can help you learn more about our solutions. Please check them out, and don't hesitate to ask your friendly local Cloudflare teams for a meeting. Thank you for attending this session.